What up, everybody, and welcome to Creeps of the Crypt. I'm your host, John, along with my co-host.
Brother Alan, what's up, guys?
That's right, and sorry if I don't sound too energetic, but I had a terrible day today. And I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to waste people's time discussing things that nobody cares about. You guys want to talk about Tales from the Crypt, and that's what we're here for, and that's what we try to provide for you wonderful people every other week. We talk about another episode. And this time we're on Season 2, Episode 13, called KORMAN'S Kalamity, right?
Yep, KORMAN'S Kalamity. This is the episode we'll be discussing today. So I just got done rewatching it because I had watched it before a while ago once when we were getting into the recording of the podcast, and even prior to that when you got me hooked on the show. So I vaguely remember it up until today. So yeah, I look forward to talking about it. I think it's I won't say more.
Yeah. So so this episode was directed by Rowdy Herrington, and I looked him up, and surprisingly enough, Rowdy, what a name. I don't think that's he probably changed his name, but Rowdy directed right before this Roadhouse. That was that was a big movie, Patrick Swayze. And then afterwards he kind of fell off. Kind of didn't do anything. Although he did do a movie that I saw years later, and I have to rewatch it. I saw it when I was like 22, 23, I think. It's called or maybe younger. I think it was younger. I think it was in high school. Yeah, it was called A Murder of Crows. Yeah, I saw it in high school. I rented it from Blockbuster one day. It's called A Murder of Crows, and it stars Cuba Gooding Jr. I remember I really liked that movie a lot when I saw it when I was younger, so I don't know.
With Tom Berenger.
Yes, I forget. No, he stole a book or took credit for I don't know. I haven't seen it since it came out on VHS.
I vaguely remember. I remember watching that actually. It was like he took credit for his late friend's book, and then it became a hit, and then I think he was taken to court or something.
Yeah, I think there was a murder that was really something weird. I think there was a real murder in the book that the guy committed a real murder or some shit. I don't remember. All I remember is that's why he was in court. He was on trial. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been so long, I remember when I remember when I first saw it, I felt like it was kind of like the beginning. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it because I have to rewatch it. But I thought it was a good movie. I don't know that. I know when I saw it, I thought, I liked it a lot when I first saw it. But yeah, after that, really nothing. He didn't do anything else, surprisingly. And the writer...
Yeah, I hadn't heard the name when I was looking him up. So, and yeah, you were going to mention the writer. I found it funny because one of the things he made, the writer of this episode, Terry Black, wrote I remember the infamous movie that they were talking about on Opie and Anthony when they're making fun of Joey Piscopo, one of his one of this other comedians that made this movie from what was it, 80 something, 88. It was this big bomb that he still kept talking about in his stand up that they were talking about at that hotel that he was doing his shows in.
Yeah, you know what? I actually didn't know that Opie and Anthony talked about that, but I saw this. Yeah. I was looking at a few years ago. I would send VHS tapes to Red Letter Media, right? Because they took out their P.O. box, but I still have it. I don't have it now, unless I wrote it somewhere and I don't remember. So I would still send them because they got too many, VHSs. They have too many tapes, so I would send them whatever. They almost did. I think they reviewed. They did actually get to one of mine, and then they did a game with another VHS tape that I sent that it didn't get picked, but it was there. So yeah, so I used to send them, and this was so I used to send them tapes, and then I was looking for VHS movies to send them, and I came across this one because I was on eBay. And he said Dead Heat, and I was like, what the hell? Joe Piscopo. I looked it up, and it looks god-awful. It looks so ridiculous. They really tried, because he was a bodybuilder guy. So they really tried to push him to be because you would think, though, because they made a big deal about him and Eddie Murphy. And to be honest, Eddie Murphy was the only shining thing in those seasons when Eddie Murphy was on. Because Lord Michael wasn't there anymore. So Eddie Murphy was the main, I think I forget. Andy Kaufman was also there, but he wasn't really doing that many skits either. And Joe Piscopo was there, but he did like a few, like just Frank Sinatra, really, like nothing else. But they try to make it like it was him and Eddie Murphy. They were the big stars. No, Eddie Murphy was the big star. that's who the big star was. So, and it shows now. Piscopo did absolutely nothing. Like his career he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but he's done absolutely nothing. But yeah, Terry Black did that and basically nothing else really, because Silk Stockings. That was a good show. That used to come on USA after the USA Network after Raw's War back in 1998.
Wow, an Anchor Bay production I see too.
Yeah.
I don't remember this one. I know they used to put a bunch of times after, it might have been SmackDown. They used to put reruns of what's it called, Renegade with Lorenzo Lamas.
Well,
that's how I knew about that show.
If
after,
you look,
like Raw or SmackDown ended.
If you look up Silk Stockings, the intro, and you watch it, you'll go, oh yeah, I think I saw this once. It was literally right after Raw's. But I think Jerry Lawler would promote it and say, "Not next is Silk Stockings." They go, "Oh my God, JR, look!" Because it was like I don't even know I think it was like a spy type show. All I know is that the intro was very sexual. It looked like it was.
Yeah, it looked like you were watching some softcore porn.
Softcore porn, yeah, like on Cinemax or something. That's what it looked like. Like you see the nylon going up, and then the guy shows his chest, and then the girl's in lingerie and all this.
It's a product of the time. Yeah,
it's all
total
dark
90s.
and it was wild. I think it was something to do with espionage and spies or something, but I don't know. I really don't know. But it did come on after Raw a lot, and that was one. And then later it ended up being Walker, Texas Ranger, every time after Raw.
Oh yeah, that's my jam back then.
Yeah. So that's who the two writers are from for this episode. The writer and director. That's what they done after and before.
Yeah, they really haven't done shit. Like this guy wrote 2 video games I never heard of: Red Steel 1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, I've never looked at it.
That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I think this is. Oh no, I've never seen this stupid fucking game. No, that looks awful. Well, good job, buddy. Whatever.
I think this was on the Wii. Yeah, it's like one of those Wii games that you play like a samurai and you wave the Wii stick on. But that's about it. That's all I know about that game. But yeah, really nothing besides Dead Heat and that Silk Stocking show. It's like he only wrote 2 episodes.
Yeah. Well,
Interesting.
I mean, these people, like we said, most likely they were just hired from whatever. By the way, so you got all the books now. You have more books than me because I only bought 3. So I bought you. So what I'm talking about, people, is I bought for Alan's birthday, which really wasn't for his birthday. Like I bought it for myself. I bought it for myself. It's the EC Comics collection. So I bought the Vault of Horror Volume 1 and Volume 2 and Volume 1 of Tales from the Crypt, right? So then I was gonna buy it for you anyway, and I think I was gonna buy it for you anyway because I put it on a cart. I was just waiting for the following week, and then I looked at your Instagram, and all of a sudden it was your birthday. So happy belated birthday again. Although I said it that I did miss it that day because I didn't watch the reel to the next day. So I did say happy birthday then. But so happy belated birthday again for everyone else to hear.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they came in the mail, and I was sifting through it. I did catch one of the stories from one of the episodes review. That's like the thing from the grave, so I gotta look through that.
Yeah,
again.
that was one of the main the picture for one of the books. I looked at it, I was like, oh, the Tales from the Crypt book, it's not Volume 1. Mm-hmm. That picture's the thing from the grave, and I looked at it too, surprisingly enough, and it is better than the episode was. It looked like it was like I was like, oh, this is more logical. Like,
yeah, it seemed interesting, and
yeah,
I was reading a little bit of pages from one of the episodes coming up in season 4 that I watched way back when I was marathoning the show. Seance, I think, was one of them. That's what the episode was called. So curious to see how different that is compared to the show's episode. But yeah, I appreciate it, man. I wanted to get a little bit of an idea on how the stories differ from the
Exactly.
ones we've seen in the show. So it was interesting to read through those a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think we talked about it last time we recorded, but that was why I was like, oh, I was trying to look at the. Maybe I did. And I was like, I was trying to look for the books, and they're like $100 a pop, and then you sent me that the paperback is cheap. The hardcover is $100. So I was like, oh shit! So I bought 3. I got you 1 more. I get you 4, right? I think So I
4. Yeah.
I was looking for this episode, and it said online. The only thing I could find was that it should be technically, because volume 1 goes up to 20 episode. I mean, or book 22. So I thought volume 2 would go to, 31 maybe or whatever. So issue 31. So it says this issue 31 is that where this episode is actually based on, because I was like, I never thought this was actually based on a comic. I thought this was like one of the first original ones, because I'm like, wait, this doesn't make sense. How would it? Because it's the whole theme. I mean, most likely it's totally different. Just elements somehow are the same. Because this.
Yeah, I would say so. I couldn't find anything regarding this episode, at least based off any comic that's in existence.
I looked it up, and somehow I found that it says, I saw the cover too. So I've seen the cover, and it's issue 31. So somewhere, maybe that's volume 3 or whatever. So it is issue 31. So I was like, oh, okay. And it's in there. It's not the cover of, you know what I mean? Like the cover is a different issue, and then in there there's a couple different stories. So the comic has a bunch of stories in an issue. And but yeah. But anyway, before we get into that, let me get into the other players in this thing before we talk about the actual episode, because there's something a little bit I was bugged out. Okay, so it stars Harry Anderson, who most notably known for his role as he's the judge in Night Court. Harry, is it Harry? Yeah, I think his name is Harry.
Harry Anderson.
Well, no, his name is Harry Anderson, but in Night Court, his name is Harry T. Stone. So he's playing his.
Right.
He's also in Cheers. He was like this guy who was always scamming Sam and them to get free beer. And he would come in once, and then they would say, no, you're not welcome here anymore. Like, they didn't want him because he'd always get away with scamming them somehow with a magic trick or some shit, and he ended up getting free beer somehow, some way from somebody. So that he was in that, and that Cheers, and basically really Night Court, which was huge, and has come back now. He passed away. Rest in peace to him. And he plays Jim Corman. And then Cynthia Gibb, who every time I watch this for a long time, and when I see this episode, I was like, I know her from something. What do I know her from? And then finally, I went to her IMDb the other day, and I was like, she's from Short Circuit 2. That's where I know her from. She's the... First of all, Short Circuit 2 is better than Short Circuit 1. I don't care what anybody says. Maybe I don't care what anybody says at all. I've seen both of them. I think I did see Short Circuit 2 first when I was a kid, but I saw Short Circuit 1. I'm like, this is boring, because it was about the fucking guy, Steve Guttenberg and Ali Sheedy.
Steve Guttenberg, yeah.
Yeah, and it wasn't about actually. I mean, it was about them falling in love with this robot that's a human. Funny enough. Then instead of it being about Johnny Five, Johnny Five is alive. Number 2 is all about Johnny Five, and it has that white guy pretending he's Indian, and Michael McKean from Better Call Saul. And
didn't he go to like New York or something? Or
yes,
where did he go?
It's supposed to be New York.
It's supposed to be New York, but I think it's probably Canada somewhere.
It is, yeah, it's Toronto, I think. But it's awesome. I love Short Circuit 2. It's my favorite. And then I cry. Even now, I'll cry when they fuck him up and he cries. I love him. And on top of that, there's a TikTok account a guy remade. He fucking remade an actual Johnny Five that talks and does everything. Like I
think I sent you a clip of that where he was shaking hands with Steve Guttenberg, right?
Well, no, I didn't see that one. I think you sent me one. It was him giving out candy in Halloween, but I saw him before that. Somehow I came across it on TikTok, and I was like, oh my god! I was like, oh, this is amazing. That also, I want, if anyone out there wants to do me a nice favor, I think they sell it somewhere. The little Johnny Fives. I don't know how much they are. They make them. These little Johnny Fives you can put on your shelf. I want one of those so badly. But
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, Cynthia the gold one. I love when he's gold. He becomes an American citizen at the end of part 2. It's so hilarious because the Indian guy who isn't even, he's kind of an asshole in the first movie, right? He's Steve Gutenberg's like co-worker. And he's kind of like with the government. So it didn't make any sense for Johnny to go to him at part 2. But he goes to him and like, I came to help. They sent us. And Ali Sheedy does have a cameo. They use her voice. So anyway, so Cynthia Gibbs from there. I'm surprised she didn't do more. I think she did like the Fame TV show, which is probably where other people know her from. And there's another show she did too that is kind of... Oh, she did the TV movie, the Karen Carpenter, the Carpenters film. So she was in that. But then there's the wife. I'm going to say her name is Colleen Camp. Now, I watched this. I cannot believe this is the same person. I just cannot believe this is the same person. Okay? In this episode, I'm like, she's a little bit, I felt like she's an over actor, right? And then I go, huh, like I'm looking at her, like, I don't know, something's off, right? So I look her up and I start looking at her IMDb. And I can't believe it's the same person. She plays the sexiest fucking woman in the movie Clue. She plays Yvette the maid, who has the really skimpy outfit with the boobs that are humongous, and she has the French accent. I don't know if you've ever seen Clue. It's another great comedy film. But
yeah, it's been a while. I gotta look her up, see what she looked like.
Look her up in Clue, and then look her up in this, and you're like, how is this the same woman? At all. Like, it doesn't even, I'm not talking about her body, because that changes, obviously. I'm talking about her face. It does not even look the same. Yvette
looks like her mom.
Yeah. Yeah. Yvette in Clue was fucking gorgeous. And now, later on, and even in interviews and things, it doesn't look like her. I'm like, it has to be a mistake. I don't know. I just, like, I don't know. But it's supposedly her. And now she's older and she's, a bigger lady now. But yeah, I can't believe Colleen Camp. I really can't believe it. Oh my God, everyone in Clue is looking at her. That's the whole joke, because he's always like, she goes, would you, it's just fucking hilarious. I just can't believe it's her. And I always thought that was a different actress. Like, I can't explain.
Yeah, could have fooled me. Just, they don't look alike, so.
At all.
What year was that? That was like 70 something, right?
No,
80, 85.
Yeah.
85
with Tim Curry, with the great Michael McKean again. He's in that too. Michael McKean worked with both of them. He worked with Cynthia Gibb in Circuit 2, and he worked with Yvette or Colleen Camp in Clue. Yeah. She was also in Greedy, but I don't know who she was in Greedy. It says Patty. I don't know who Patty was.
That's 5 years before this episode.
Wow. Only 5 years, and she looks like a totally different... Well, good for her acting, I guess. I mean, I don't know. That's all I can say.
She didn't look that bad in this episode, but they put her in like...
No, they put her in an outfit to make her look... Yeah. But it's like, it's not that... It's not the body. It's the face. It doesn't look like the same woman at all. Like, to me, I'm like, I don't...
No.
How? I'm like, what? It doesn't make any sense. So anyway, that's what... Oh, also, Robert Schiff is in... he's an actor. You've seen him before. He plays the guy later on who tries to mug the...
Yeah, he had a brief little appearance there.
Yeah. And
if you see his face, he's been in a lot of different
The
things.
West Wing is one of the bigger... like one of the biggest things he was in. And that was a big show. But also Man of Steel. But anyway... So why don't you tell us what this episode, Korman's Kalamity, is all about? Because everyone's like, what the fuck you guys talking about? All this other shit nobody cares about. So let's talk about Korman's Kalamity.
Yeah, Korman's Kalamity stars Harry Anderson. We had mentioned he was in Night Court. And Cynthia Gibb and then Colleen Camp. So he plays his wife. So he plays a comic book writer. And this is kind of one of the self-referential episodes where he's like a artist for the Tales from the Crypt comic book. Mm-hmm. And lo and behold, he starts drawing these monsters, and they start coming to life pretty much. And it's been going on for a few months. There's been reports from different people. We find out later on that the stuff he was drawing for cover art for the comics that started coming into reality. So that's kind of like the premise and setup of the episode. So yeah, that's kind of what we get introduced to. His wife, wants to have kids, just an overbearing wife, and he's
bitch
constantly nagging him about
she's
getting a better
breaker.
job. Pretty much, yeah, busting his balls any chance she gets. Going to his job and busting his balls. Everybody's afraid of her.
Well, this episode is, I think I would have to say, is the first real episode that took the show. I think there was one before, but it wasn't as like this much, where it was kind of campy or whatever. This one really is like, not all episodes are going to be dark and scary. This is like the first one is like, sometimes are going to be a little bit jokey, more jokey than so, right?
It's a little lighthearted, little silly, campy episode, but honestly, yeah, I think it's. I wouldn't say it made it a bad episode.
At the same time, it also breaks the fourth wall because they're working for Tales from the Crypt, right? That's the comics that they make, and they have the fucking guy Bob Gaines. They cast a guy to play Bob Gaines, and that's the one thing I thought, because I saw pictures of Bob Gaines, right. And I'm like, he does not look. The guy that plays Bob Gaines looks like a serial killer or like Satan. He's got these thick eyes. Like if I picture,
it looks like the guy, one of the dudes from Indiana Jones.
Yeah, and then his wife is dressed ridiculous. I don't know what era or time period she's from. It is
put
modern
her in this
day.
Pin-up, this pin-up outfit, this polka dot outfit,
and this weird hat.
Yeah, and weird hat, and these high. Well, later on she has another outfit. It was like these big shoulders.
Yeah, they give her big shoulders.
Dress.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. I don't know. They purposely. I think. Well, I think she got a little bit bigger at this time too, and maybe she had kids. I don't know. I don't want to. So, but like they somehow were able, and she's a good actress, because I always thought she was really French from Clue. So in this is totally like I thought she. I don't know. I guess I confused her with another actress. But anyway, I had no idea it was her. But she comes and she starts busting his balls, and everyone runs away. They all know this is how she is. And she's just like, I guess you would say back in the day, in the 90s, you say she wears the pants in the family. And he's the little bitch. And then she just comes and says, oh, you're cheating on me? And he's like, there's no girls here today, no secretaries. And then she's like...
She comes bringing his fertility pills and counting them because he forgot to take them this morning.
Yeah, because she I mean, that's one thing, honestly, back in the day, they used to do a lot. They don't really do it now anymore, where they'd say, like, where they try to make the man a loser. They say, you can't even get me pregnant. When always they want to make the wife a bitch, too. They always say, you can't even get me pregnant. And then, like to demean the man. I don't think that would work today. I just feel like today people are like, yeah, so what? I don't know. Like, I just feel like we've moved so far from that's like not even like, oh, they can't have kids. I don't know. That I don't think writers would write that anymore because they don't feel like that's a bad thing. You know what I mean? Or a sad thing. They just
no, I don't think so. It's because it's just one of those things where I guess for the time, I don't know. It just depends on the person, but some people want to have kids and sometimes they can't. So the circumstances of writing that, I could see being relatable.
Yeah.
To like the modern guy at the time.
Yeah, and he after she busts his balls and he gets pissed, he starts drawing, and I've noticed that the guy he draws ends up being he draws the monster, right? And then he also draws the guy that ends up being the guy who gets basically in the next scene that tries to mug the cop. So the next scene after this, after he starts drawing, so he starts drawing this thing. So basically what happens is those pills somehow give him the ability to whatever he draws comes to life. And so he starts drawing this thing, but it takes like a while, I guess. So he draws this monster after his wife pisses him off, and he's just making this picture for the comic issue. Next scene, we see a cute girl putting clothes in the dryer or washing machine. She's doing laundry. Obviously, this is a city, so she's doing clothes, and she sees Harry T. Anderson. I'm gonna call him Harry T. Stone. So she sees Harry T. Stone. She likes him. Like they're into each other. And he looks at her, and they both like they have googly eyes or whatever, and they're like blushing. And he leaves, and she's by herself. And then all of a sudden, lights go out. Guy comes in. He's a good actor. He was a good actor even back then. And she's like, "Oh, could you go check it?" He goes, "Oh, no need to check. I'm the one that did it." He's like, takes out a knife, like,
yeah, power goes out in the laundromat.
Yeah,
I guess he blew the fuse out, and pulls out a little little pocket knife. I guess he was gonna have his way with her or something. And yeah, we see something coming out of the laundry machine, and she tries to warn him, and then he's like, "Ah, lady, I think I was born yesterday," and then this giant monster that Jim drew just bit his head off while she ran away.
Mm-hmm. And then
didn't get a really great shot at it, but yeah, I mean you got the gist.
Yeah,
of what was going on there.
And then the cops come, and you find out, yeah, she's a cop. She just showed him her badge, but the acting is. We've seen episodes where they go, oh, they just took it as a comic book, like they didn't know how to act in the episode, right? I can't remember exactly which episodes were like this in that aspect. I know there were. We've talked about it many times. Every time we watch, Tales from the Crypt, we go, oh, I guess they didn't know how to do it. I would guess. Let me look for this for a second. I can tell you which episodes. Exactly.
I gotta look and remind myself.
Actually, I think the one is Judy. You're not yourself today. That's the one that was like, oh, they didn't know how to really do it because it kind of comes off. The acting comes off as like a comedy, or like goofy kind of. I don't know how.
Yeah, It's very exaggerated.
Mm-hmm. And that was like the first one that did that, I guess. And then this one's really the first one that like basically just tells you because of the story and the way they're acting, especially her, because she's not this bad in Short Circuit 2. She's a believable person living in this world in Short Circuit 2, And in this, she's like, you don't believe anything coming. Like it's like seems too hokey. Her acting is like.
It's a little
off,
a little cheesy.
Yeah, cheesy. That's exactly what it is. Her acting is cheesy. So is the guy that gets killed. That was trying to mug her, or rape her, whatever the hell he was going to do, assault her. His acting is cheesy too, and so's like the wife, wife too. It's all like over the top and done over the top, and I think that this was them saying like, listen, not all episodes are going to be like. A fitting punishment, or like
not gonna be very grounded.
Yeah,
it's gonna be some silly episodes you don't really take seriously, which I didn't mind.
Yeah,
I think they handled this a lot better than the Judy episode.
Yes,
in that respect of trying to do it like that.
Yeah, because the idea in general is a little too. So I guess that's why they went. I mean, but then again, I don't know. This episode feels like especially with the monsters, because every monster he draws comes to life. Like the first one, we didn't get to see that well, right? But then later, there's one where he draws a monster after, I forgot what happens after she comes to him. Yeah, she finds him because nobody believes her in her job that this happened. She's walking down the street, she sees like the magazine Tales from the Crypt. She puts it together that, wait, these all happened. All these incidents happened, and that's the monster I saw at the laundromat. And this is the artist. Yeah. So she tracks him down.
He saw all the cover arts or the comics at one of the newspaper stands.
Yeah.
And saw his name on it. So that's kind of how it led her to him, meeting up with him in his car, just breaking into his car, just talking to him about all these coincidences that have been happening with his drawings and the comics, and they wanted to do a little experiment, and just so he took her back to his studio to draw another monster. It was it's a funny little dialogue they had, and him hiding the photo of his wife and throwing it in the trash while she was there in the office.
Yeah.
Totally trying to get with her.
Yeah, they're into each other. They're both into each other, and he doesn't want her to know that he is married, especially we'll get to that part. I thought that was cute. But I think they work they have good chemistry. That's one thing I will say. Like her acting and everything on her own is goofy, and I think they told her, let's ham it up a bit, because we're making. I don't know. I just feel like that's the route they wanted to go in because and sometimes it is fun. And this was a fun episode because I don't have really anything negative to say about it at all. Even though that's the only thing is cheesy or campy. It's like watching the fucking like a Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah.
Tales from the Dark Side is a perfect example because those shows are like the same thing. Like season 1 with the fucking cadaver, whatever I forgot what that's called when you take animals and you stuff them after they die. I forgot what that's called.
Taxidermy.
Yes, with the taxidermist, with the guy who retires and he becomes a taxidermist. This feels like it belongs with the same thing like that. And Judy, you're not yourself today. The thing with Judy, yeah, that feels like those all belong in a different show. Like that's the style of Tales from the Dark Side. They just have a bigger budget here. But anyway, she's very pretty. Like I always thought this girl was very pretty, even in Short Circuit too. I'm surprised she didn't have a much better career. But anyway, Jim Corman, he's into her and he's got like his confidence with her. It's kind of
he's got a swag.
Yeah, he's got swag. Yeah, and so he draws the zombie and nothing happens, and then
some kind of ghoul or something, right? And he draws that, and then
there's a zombie coming out of a refrigerator, and then it cuts to a bunch of kids playing, and then
they're playing in this warehouse where RoboCop took place.
Oh, that's where RoboCop took place.
No, I don't know for sure, but it reminded me of that warehouse in RoboCop at the end.
Oh,
when they had that big shootout. I might not be it, but it just reminded me of that.
That's funny.
Yeah, we got a cool little scene of them playing, and then this kid with glasses goes to open the fridge, and that's when that zombie comes out when the other kids were teasing them.
You know what else? Yeah, but let me go back 1 second. But so the zombie comes out. Yeah, they're basically picking on like Jim, like Corman. Like it felt like that's what they were referring because the kid looks like Corman. He's a little boy. He's geeky, and then the kid's like bullying him.
Oh, I didn't even think of it. It could have been like a flashback episode or a flashback scene of maybe his drawings, but it may not be it. But
no. I just feel like they just try to like he looks like a
referential.
Corman. Yeah. And like Corman.
The special effects on that zombie were pretty decent.
That's what I was gonna say. Like so, this one and later. That because we didn't get to see the first one that well, but this zombie looks fucking great. This one looks like it came out of the Thriller.
This one we got a good shot at.
Yeah, literally looks like it came out of the Michael Jackson's Thriller, and then he comes out the same exact way as he does, and he kicks one kid's ass. That's the biggest asshole. I think he kills him. I don't know if they showed it. I don't remember, but the little kid looks like Corman. But
I think they just all ran away. But that would have been cool if they did that. See that kid's helmet roll or something. But kind of got the idea that he got killed by the zombie.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to go back on the scene with him and her, and he has his swag and everything. I don't think they would do that today with her character. You know why? And it's very odd too because she's a cop, right? She's a cop. And they have her falling in love with, like, also falling for him, and also being like dainty around him. And I don't think if the writers were writing today, especially writing a woman, and a woman is a police officer, I don't think they'd write her as a dainty character that could easily fall in love with some. You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, she's too submissive, but
yes,
with him at least.
Yes.
But in today's writing, she would not be having it.
Yeah, and the same thing with him too. He got his swag back. He's like a fucking man with her. He feels like and that's why they made her the wife look a little bigger or something, because she's the dominant one and he's like a cowardly, like doesn't complain, stays quiet. And then with her, he's like a man with the cops. So that's interesting. I like how they did that.
Yeah.
There's little things like that you don't notice when you first watch it, and then you look back and you go, oh wow, they did this and this, and that's good. But anyway, so he's in love. He's absolutely in love, and he's drawing after the incident with the kids. And I don't think they refer like the cops came or anything. I don't know if they mentioned anything.
No, we just got another scene of a monster that he drew. That was kind of like more of the showcase, the makeup effects on that, which was pretty badass. You know what? His wife reminds me of it. In this next scene where he's in the office, and she shows up again after he was on the phone with the cop, being all flirty, and trying to take her out to dinner. What? She reminds me of was it John Cusack's sister?
Oh yes, she does, and she kind of John Cusack's sister, Joan Cusack. She kind of like she has that voice.
Got that
voice.
She's got that voice.
They don't have the same voice, but like maybe she was trying to be like, because Joan Cusack has that voice and she acts like that. Joan Cusack is actually really, really good actress. Her brother's a fucking asshole. But her brother was a good actor. I can't take that away from him. Joan Cusack, great actress. But so Corman is drawing and he's in love, and they're like, listen, what are you doing? And he's like, I don't know. And he's just drawing him and her kissing. It's kind of funny.
On a date, yeah.
So maybe he knew what he was doing because he wanted that to come true, because maybe he thought, if I could draw these monsters and they come to life, what if I draw a picture of me and her together happily ever after and it comes to life? Right? I don't know. But he calls
Makes
her.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, he calls her and he's like, I got reservations. You want to go out to dinner or whatever? And he's like, okay, see, she doesn't even say, why does it have to be discreet? Because he says something like a discreet place or something. And then all of a sudden the camera turns, like it's doing like almost a 360 kind of, or like a 180 panning around him. And all of a sudden you see in front of him that he doesn't know is his wife staring at him. And she starts going, what?
That's great.
And she starts busting his balls. And he's like, oh no. He becomes like the weakling again. And then he goes, no, you don't. Oh, because then she sees the picture of what he was drawing prior to after he drew, because the boss told him, listen, you got to start we need this artwork for the comic. So he started doing that. She came back. I guess she went to get her gun or some shit. So she comes back. And that's the scene you're talking about where she looks like Joan Cusack, is when she pulls out that gun and she goes, surprise, and her mouth and everything. Great. Yeah, it's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, and then she sees the picture because he's holding it as he's like saying no. And she goes, what is that? And then she goes, is that me? And he goes, no.
Yeah, before he pulls out the gun, you see the silhouette behind him of what he's drawing.
Yeah. And then she's like, I don't know, she did everything weird. I don't know what. She stands weird every time. She stands
got like a very
like she has balls,
like a masculine. Yes, yeah, like
she's
a masculine.
Standing like she's got balls. Way. Like her legs are wide. Like I don't know if she did that on purpose or they told. I don't know, but that's pretty good.
Yeah, that was strange. Yeah, I guess that was supposed to be. I would say it's intended because the whole episode was him getting demeaned by her, and her being the having the pants in the relationship. Yeah. So even the monster was standing like her too. Yeah, you notice.
Yeah, and then
had the same posture.
That's another good-looking monster. Although it is cartoonish, but it's pretty good looking. Like,
it looks solid.
It looks like it's supposed to. So it's supposed to look cartoony because he drew it. So it's supposed to look like that. It's supposed to look like a different version
of the comic books.
Yeah. So it comes and it starts going to attack him, and then his wife starts talking shit because it looks like her. And he starts talking crap, and then it's like the monster gets offended when it makes she makes a fat comment to the monster. The monster's like, how dare you? And then goes to her and eats her. And then Harry or Corman, he leaves his office, and his girlfriend, or soon-to-be wife, I would assume, comes running in, and he's like, she's like, what's all that noise? He goes, oh, they're just cleaning. Like she's not even saying like, oh, wait a second, I'm supposed to be investigating.
Yeah, she just forgot about everything that was going on, and then I was just gonna go on a date. She looked good though.
Yeah, she did look good.
She was a nice.
She's in love.
She was ready for that date. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And again, he drew it or whatever, and maybe he drew it to come true.
That's part of it. Yeah.
He threw out the pills after.
He threw out the pills afterward. Yeah. After the whole commotion.
Yes, and after he drew that picture of them together. So. Then after that scene, they show them together at dinner, and then does she say, "Are you married?" And he goes, "Not anymore," right?
Yeah, she asked him.
Why would she ask him? Well, anyway, whatever. She says, "Are you married?" And he goes, "Not anymore." And that's a great line. And even when I was a kid, I said, "Not anymore." And that's the episode. It's a good.
That's a great way to end it.
Yeah.
Like if it would have been written differently if it was done today for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I thought it was solid for what it was. I like it a lot. I liked it for what it was.
Yeah, I will say one thing. Not criticizing this episode at all. I actually do like it, surprisingly, even though it is a totally different episode. And normally, I don't know. I actually did like. I really do.
A big
episode.
turn from the last one we saw, which dealt with some deep,
deep
dark
fucked
shit.
Up, and it was. But it was. This is a good episode. It's just different. I could see people watching this at the time and being like, "What the fuck?" Because of what they after they saw fitting punishment, But I like this episode. But I will say. About the writers, because we talk shit about writers. I will say that there are good writers out there. I do see good programs sometimes, or some very few, but there are times where I watch something and that was pretty good. Like there's a couple shows like that. So I'm not totally shitting on all writers. It's just the majority of you aren't very good. like you're just not. I could watch old shows all the time and I get more moral lessons or more emotion or reaction or investment comes out of me from watching older shows than new shows. New shows are just, for me, it seems like they're just content. They're just here, take this, and that's why I feel
that's the thing. Yeah, that's where I get most of my feelings on writing these days, because it's just made just to fill content on the streaming platform. So a lot of it is just not. It's very forgettable.
Yeah, if I had to rate this episode, what would you give it?
Given what we discussed, what the intention of the episode was, what how he felt about it at the end, I give it a solid 4 out of 5. I think it was, for what it is, I think it's not a bad episode comparatively to the Judy episode. I mean, I watched this 10 times over instead of that one. So I think for what it was doing and the self-referential stuff there with mentioning the original, the author there, and just kind of the chemistry we had between the two main characters that ended up being together, I thought that was pretty all right. I didn't mind it. I think that's what I'm gonna end up giving it, a 4. I'm gonna give it a 4. Good monster design, the special effects when you actually start seeing some of them, and yeah, just a simple story. That's all I really got to say about it.
Yeah, I agree. A 4 out of 5. I like this much more than I originally did the very first time I saw it, and I will even say that. But before doing the podcast, this was an episode I would skip because it's not one of my favorites. But sitting down and actually watching it, I've watched this twice already this week. I like it a lot. I really do like it, even with the acting, because I don't know. Like I said, I didn't think about all these things when we started talking about this episode, and then I started thinking, oh, what if they did that because of this and that, and all these different things? And I go, yeah, it's a good episode. And besides that, like you said, the monsters look pretty good. I like both of them, and I liked I don't know. I really do like this one. I don't know. And sometimes you can't really explain it. Yeah, I give it 4 out of 5. I really like this episode. Even though it's a little cheesy, it's a little campy, the acting's a little bit ridiculous, but this time it all fits and supposed to.
It's just executed well, and it didn't drag. I was into it.
Yeah. It
was from beginning to end. I didn't feel like an episode that was dragging or went by too fast either. I thought it had a good pacing.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, it didn't drag. I didn't need to fast forward anything. I actually, or I didn't think it went by too quick.
Having to rewatch it.
Yeah, that too. Not at all. Yeah, so 4 out of 5. That's both our ratings, and so you guys could follow us on X at Creeps of Crypt. Just look up at Creeps of Crypt, and you'll find Creeps of the Crypt on X. If you want to hit us up with anything, and we also have a merch store, and there's a new shirt coming out. By the time this episode's out, the shirt might be available. So it's an interesting shirt. So I will go to it's for Tales from the Crypt. So you're gonna see it and you're gonna go, oh, Oh, that's a cool shirt. I think you're gonna think it's cool. So go to ghostcrusadersmerch.com and check out our T-shirts. If you'd like to, if you like the podcast, you like these little episodes, check them out and buy a shirt if you want. And there's 2 shirts only so far for Creeps of the Crypt, but I think they're both cool shirts or interesting shirts. So.
Yeah, it's a really cool design you sent me, so I think you guys should definitely check it out.
Yeah, I don't know how that came out. Like I was thinking of what should I do. Like I do want to do the other one I was telling you about the. Oh, I don't want to say it now. About the. I think that'll be interesting, to do like. I'll tell you afterwards. But anyway, yeah. So check us out like that, and yeah, that's it. So yeah, we'll see you guys next time. This is your line.
Peace. Take care, guys.
What?